Good morning. Welcome to OptionsTender. It is Tuesday, May 28th, 2025. So we're going to go through this analysis really quick, and we're going to check out NDX because that's the only thing that really changed anything right now. We had a nice 2-day bounce, and this bounce is not very healthy. Okay, breadth, it's not good. We have the S&P negative 345. It's getting more negative by the day passing. And we're also in a very complacent spot here. And that started occurring yesterday. We saw some really low numbers on the put call ratios, a very contrarian signal. All right, VIX is up, and just a couple of big tech stocks holding us up. All right, we got our bounce from the bonds, which is that was no surprise, and then that should continue to fall going into next week. All right, let's go through this analysis. We're doing this intraday about 11:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to get these videos intraday, consider becoming a YouTube supporter. It's 99 cents a month, and it really helps out the channel to get us doing these videos often. Now, let's look at this wedge. This is a strong setup. We had the wedge breakdown. By the way, make sure you stick around for this whole video. I'm going to give you the exact thoughts on where I think this market is going and what it's going to look like now that NDX made a new high, QQQ made a new high. We want to give you what a typical next move looks like. And I've seen this scenario before. All right, so we have this bearish rising wedge. We are riding up that wedge, back testing, and I think we will get a drop coming here into next week. I don't know how soon it'll happen. Maybe it's Nvidia, maybe it's GDP in the morning, maybe a combination of PCE on Friday. And just a low volume, so anything can happen, but it's typical that the market floats higher, but don't fall asleep at the wheel because we have a great setup here. So maybe we end this week in a Harami reversal week, inside week here, and continue next week. That's always possible, so don't get theta decayed on these low volume weeks. All right, let's go through these very quickly. We're still holding positive all over the place. I do think this is going to break down. You see this, everything's positive, but we're into resistance, okay? Calling an oscillator. The breadth is going back negative. We're sticking around this territory. I think it's going to go to the extreme territory, but we'll have to see. All right, and the reason why we do this each and every day is kind of like a journal. This is what I do. This is what you can just look and see. Oh man, so we saw this before. We've been in this scenario before. Let's see what happens and how the indicators play out with this happening. So we're still looking for the crossover in the MACD. We're in a neutral to bullish state in the RSI, clearly because of the bounce. And slow stoke is heading up so far. DMARC. Probably nothing to see here yet. Yep, no real count happening. Awesome oscillator. Turning negative. In positive range, red candles. SPY. Money flow index. Money's coming out. Nice reversal, potential reversal candle here. Again, off of that wedge. It's very important. Bollinger Band, no setup. Volume shelf, we're into it. And oscillator rolling over, the Elliot oscillator. Okay, just a quick visual of our primary scenario. Here's the other setup here. So we have our wave one in the red here. And then an ABC for 2. And I believe this top is in as of the 18th or the 19th. Is that the 19th? Yeah. On May 19th, I believe the top was in here. for the wave 2. And we're getting a nice pullback to the 786. And in the daily time frame, you could see clearly a wick headed down. It's going to look a little different on the 65. It's going to look like we have a couple candles holding up there. But we're rejecting off of this 786 retracement, which is typical for a 1-2. So right now we're in a 1-2 setup. That's a very bearish setup. And so we should see this start to play out pretty rapidly. And what I think is going to happen is we're going to close this gap. Okay. So with that said, we're probably going to have a 1-2 and then a nice sharp pullback for a to close, get into this fib area here around 560, 563. I'll call it 560 to 565. So you'll see this nice 1-2. And then this will be a nesting, right? We'll get down to here. We'll probably have a reaction. Each of these gaps play as a nice safety net for the market. So you'll 1-2, 1-2, get a reaction off of there. And then the tech market. So we can go over there now. And by the way, you think I'm crazy, but our target here for the wave 3 is about 383. I think that's approximate. So that's where our wave 3 target is. Let's go to the Qs. And now that the Qs made a new high right here, just a slight new high, so we're into resistance. I believe this next move is going to be the wave 1, but what's going to be argued, and this is what our alternative situation is going to be, is that this was an A, an expanded B, into a 5-wave move down for a C. So you're going to see a sharp move down here, but I think that's going to be a wave 1. And that's going to be a nice sharp move. It's going to lead the market. Possibly even close this gap, maybe not close it all the way. We'll see where SPY is at the same time. And you also have the support in conjunction with that gap there. So maybe it just makes it to support and then back test. But this initial move lower, I'm going to get rid of this line because we're just back testing that wedge, but we made a new high. So this is very clearly a good trend line that if we break, we're going to break down. So this will be a nice sharp wave 1 into a wave 2, wherever the bounce comes from. And that will cause another bounce in SPY. So you get the 1-2, 1-2 in SPY, but on QQQ, you'll just get a bigger wave 1. That's what I suspect will happen. And then you start getting into the 3 of 3, which will be much more relentless. And that should start happening in the next couple weeks here. All right, and here's our moving averages here. Obviously in a positive stance right now, but we're against resistance. And this is all new information. We now have negative divergence in the Qs. Okay, that's huge on the MACD. We don't have that on SPY, but that's why we have to look at both of these. Now, what I should have caught yesterday and at minimum mentioned when we get down to the lower time frames, I'll show you that it was likely we're to get a high in Qs, but not in SPY because of the 3-wave move that we had. So you had negative divergence here as well, formed just today as of this new high, and negative divergence in a slow stook. DMARC, nothing to see. Awesome oscillator, negative divergence. All right, same thing. Money flow index, negative divergence. All right, as of today. So after Nvidia plays out tomorrow, let's see what happens. That's why it's so important to look at these. That's all we have. The Elliot oscillator also tells us that we're in a wave 4 into 5 as well. Okay, good signals here. Now let's go to the VIX actually. VIX is just in a beautiful spot here. If everything pans out, we're right at that 19 level that we talked about being so important. It's where all of this basing is occurring, right? And then 19 is very important. And then you have this uptrend line from the base. Let me zoom out. Here's the base here. Boom, boom. And we have all of these levels here. And now we're starting to make a higher low at support. This says we start going down as soon as tomorrow. All right. And then we have some configurations that have to happen on the higher time frames. We're in a rising configuration. In this daily time frame, we're actually in a rising here, but we're in a declining. Sorry, I was looking up at the screen. Declining scenario right here. So we'll see. Maybe we get another bounce up here, a higher move, and then make a low. So start those moves, right, to the upside. Higher highs, higher lows. SPY. Let's go to the 65 and get this. Here's the two scenarios. So the zigzag is complete, in my opinion. We have 1 and 2. It's complete. Now, here's our count. A, B, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 in here. And we can also see the wick into the 786, where this is now a new declining 5-wave impulse move into a 1, a zigzag into a 2. And you can actually see, and I think we're going to get that next degree, lower degree, 1, 2 coming up soon here after rejection. Close the gap or come near closing the gap, and they get another 1, 2, and then lower. All right, that's the bearish scenario. On the bullish scenario, we can close the gap. This will be a zigzag, 5, 3, 5. All right, that's what that's going to be argued, because they're both going to be impulse waves, when really it's a 1, 2, 1, 2, in my opinion. And then this is going to be a B, C zigzag for somebody else, okay, and for the bulls. And then wave 4 would be moved down to here, and you get wave 5 into some of the we'll have new targets. If we do get lower here, we'll have some new targets to the upside. And you're looking at a 1, 2, this being a wave 3, wave 4 continues, and wave 5. Now, I don't have this mapped out on the cues, but if we're looking at this one, this would be, again, in the bearish scenario, we just got the wave count here, 1, 2. We had wave 3 completed here and expanded flat into 4, and then 5 here today. And so if you're bullish, this is going to be a 1, a 2, and this is the C is going to be a 3, and then you're looking for this next move for wave 4. Now, I think it's more appropriate if we move those back to where they were. Again, if you're bullish, and this was just an A, an expanded B into a C, into a larger wave 4, and then you go for wave 5. All right, so that's, again, these same zones. These are the zones that matter. Nothing else really matters. Whether you're bull or bear, we're going to get the pullback. And then this is your zone from 500 to 486. We start breaking down. I have to adjust it by a couple pennies there, but as long as it doesn't break under here, you can remain bullish. If not, breaks down here, there is going to be, I'm not going to bring it up now, but there is going to be a higher low scenario where we have an extension. This is wave 1 being in ABC as a wave 1, and we'll go through that, but that's not going to be for much lower prices, so we'll keep that in mind later. Right now, this is the important aspect. Probability of a bear market continuation gets higher underneath 486. We'll keep that verbiage just like that. And let's go back to the indicators so we can constantly learn off of these indicators. And then we'll end this video. So I built the downtrend line, I drew a downtrend line from the all-time high. We shouldn't really get back above there. If we do, then we're probably going to get new highs, and then those will be divergent highs, along with what happened with the Qs today. And here's our indicators. Moving averages, we're holding on to all of them, so it's in a bullish posture. That's what's holding the market today. Along with those, clearly the big names are holding things in place, looking for a catalyst. We have the MACD rolling back over. It's in a neutral position. So is it going to go higher or is it going to go lower? All right. I think this hasn't played out yet, the divergences from this big move. And right here, this candle, we have some negative divergence right on this candle there. Kind of hard to see because the sloping of the RSI. But we peaked at the RSI just before, and then we got a new high there with the lower high on RSI. We're getting a sell signal right now on the slow stoke. D-mark. 13 count exhaustion move here. So this is signaling the 9913 sell signal. All right, so we have a sell set up in this configuration right now. That's why we look at this all the time. Great sell signal. Awesome oscillators in positive territory. Green candles. Money flow. Money is flowing out, but I think this is more of a downtrend at this point. We'll see what happens here. If we start to roll over. But we had the negative divergence in both of these, and I just don't think it's played out all the way yet. Bollinger Bands, sell signal, not really into it, but sell signal, yeah, I guess it tagged it right here. So another sell signal with a overbought condition into the top of the Bollinger Band. Elliot oscillator. No new high there, so we can't really see what's going on. And the Elliot oscillator for the Qs made a new high today and a divergent move. There's more divergence. Okay. All right, that's what we have for you. Looking at MJ. Anything to see here? Getting really tight in those Bollinger Bands. All right, that's a buy signal in itself. Positive divergence in this lower time frame. This could start to break out. BTC. All right. Starting to break down from the wedge. I think we see continuation on this pretty soon here. Pretty negative day. Money flow. We had negative divergence going from this move to this move. I think we're going to start to roll over on this. All right. Thanks for watching here at OptionsTender. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you after earnings.